It was the 1st of May, 1915, and the RMS Lusitania was ready to leave New York City and sail across the Atlantic Ocean. She was a large and beautiful ship, known for her speed. People even called her the Greyhound of the Seas, because she could cross the ocean in less than 5 days. The ship was full of life. Almost 2,000 people were on board, passengers and crew. There were men, women, children, and even soldiers returning home to Europe. Many were excited. They looked forward to arriving in Liverpool, England. Even though World War I was happening in Europe, most people felt safe travelling. Germany had started using U-boats to attack ships near Britain. But the Lusitania was very fast. So therefore, people believed that no submarine could ever catch her. Most passengers didn't worry too much. Before the ship left, Germany placed a warning in American newspapers. The notice said that people should not travel on British ships in war zones. Some passengers saw the warning and felt nervous, but most ignored it. Who would attack a passenger ship, they said. This is not the Titanic. Captain William Turner was in charge of the Lusitania. He was a smart and experienced sailor. He chose a route that stayed close to the coast as they neared Ireland. That way, if something were to go wrong, rescue ships could reach them quickly. He also knew about the German U-boats and told the crew to keep watch and stay alert at all times. But no one expected that the danger would come from something else. Not from a submarine, but from the sea itself. On the night of the 3rd of May, the weather changed. The air turned cold. A thick fog settled over the ocean, making it hard to see. Unknown to Captain Turner, something very dangerous was hiding in that fog. A massive iceberg. Because the winter had been warmer than usual, the iceberg had floated farther south than normal. It was not supposed to be in this part of the ocean. At 2:15 on the 4th of May, a lookout on the ship saw something dark in the water. "Iceberg!" he shouted. Captain Turner rushed to the bridge. He gave the order to turn the ship sharply to port. The crew worked fast, but the Lusitania was a big, heavy ship. She didn't turn quickly enough. The iceberg hit the right side of the ship, the starboard side. It tore a deep, long hole below the waterline. Ice scraped against metal with a terrible sound. The whole ship shook. Passengers woke up in their beds. Some were frightened. Others thought it was just a small crash. At first, some passengers laughed or made jokes. They thought everything would be fine. But down below, water was rushing in fast. The Lusitania had watertight compartments to keep her afloat if some areas were to be flooded. She could stay afloat if 4 compartments were filled with water, but now 6 were damaged. That meant that the ship was in serious trouble. Captain Turner ordered the engines to stop. The ship slowed down, but the water kept flooding in. She began to list to the right side. People rushed to the decks. Crew members tried to stay calm and help passengers onto lifeboats, but time was running out. The list made it hard to launch the boats properly. Some lifeboats could not swing out. Others tipped or fell into the sea upside down, and some people were just thrown into the water. There were cries, screams, and confusion. Parents searched for their children. Crew shouted instructions, but it was hard to stay calm. Only 20 minutes after hitting the iceberg, the Lusitania began to capsize due to the streamlined design of the ship. Water kept pouring in. The ship leaned more and more to the right. Deck chairs, people, and luggage slid into the ocean. One of the ship's funnels broke off and crashed into the sea, crushing a lifeboat below. Some passengers tried to crawl across the tilted deck to reach the other side. Others jumped into the water, hoping to swim to safety, but the sea was cold and rough. Then, the Lusitania rolled fully onto her side. The once beautiful ship was now on its side in the water. Slowly, she began to disappear under the water. In just 20 minutes, the ship had capsized and was sinking. The Lusitania had sent out an SOS. Rescue ships began racing to the area. A British cruiser nearby picked up the message and hurried to help. But by the time the rescue ships arrived, almost all of Lusitania was already underwater. Hundreds of people floated in the sea. Some held on to broken pieces of the ship. Others were in lifeboats. Many had no life jackets. Some were injured. Others were freezing in the cold water. In total, about 837 people survived, but more than 1,100 died. The sea had taken them quickly and without warning. Captain Turner was one of the survivors. He had stayed on the bridge as the ship sunk. He went down with the ship, but was pulled out of the water by a lifeboat. He was tired and quiet, but he later said, "There was nothing more I could do." When the news spread, people around the world were shocked. Many remembered the sinking of the Titanic just 3 years earlier in 1912. But this was different. The Lusitania had gone down in only 20 minutes. People in the United States were heartbroken. Over 100 Americans had died in the disaster. Families grieved, newspapers wrote sad stories, and people held memorial services for those that were lost. But there was no German torpedo. No U-boat had attacked. There was no act of war involved in the sinking. Because of this, the United States did not enter World War I. Many people thought it was too dangerous to get involved. They wanted to stay neutral or peaceful and out of the fighting. The loss of the Lusitania showed how deadly the sea could be, even for the fastest and most modern ships. And even though it was not caused by a U-boat, the danger of war was all around, and the world would never forget what happened to the Lusitania.